Hey, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Quantum Wellbeing Show right here on Broadcast Team Alpha. It's Friday evening. Thank you for spending the next 30-ish minutes with me. Tonight, we're going to talk about some interesting topics, right? The grace and the grit and the grace of Ascension symptoms. Before I start, I just want to invite you to join our membership group. It's kind of like going backstage. There is exclusive content. There is some content that Augie and I test drive, in the safety of a small group because it's vulnerable stuff or new information. And Mac is going to put the link in the chat so you can join us. And of course, don't forget to join us on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. right here on Broadcast Team Alpha. We have an incredible guest that we pre-recorded today that you're going to start hearing about in the very near future. So I'm going to share a screen with you tonight because I have some visuals on this topic. I'm trying something different. You guys can let me know what you think. All right. Now let's pray that I just don't knock us out. So the grit and the glory of Ascension symptoms, or navigating the awakening with grace. And tonight is June 16th, and I am Nori Love, healing artist. And a lot of people have been asking me lately why I go with the title healing artist. And, when I was born, I was unwanted. I always felt outside of the community that was supposed to want me. And, I never wanted other people to feel that way. And with that desire in my heart, it led me down a path of healing. So I came to the planet with some gifts, and then the planet, my experiences here that I believe I chose, gave me that desire. And then those two together guided me to different modalities. I am not the modality. The modalities are not me. The gift comes through and it goes through the modalities as well. And there are so many modalities, which you probably know, I'm not going to list them tonight, that I encompass them under the term healing artist. It's my story. I'm sticking to it. So there's no doubt something is going on in the world, right? This is a very exciting time, but the energies are strong. They're intense, and our bodies are adjusting to the new frequencies, the energies, frequencies. Our bodies are dense, right? We don't vibrate as quickly as, of course, light at this incarnation, at this point in our incarnation. So in our dense body, we feel these frequencies as symptoms. And the truth of it all is that we're upgrading. If you know me, I struggle with the mouse. So some people say that we're raising to 4D or 5D. So the newest theory that I'm studying right now says it goes to 7D. There are other thought processes about that. But something is happening. There's no denying it. And whether you think in terms of the fourth density or the fifth density, we will think about it according to our beliefs and how we view the world. So I can't quite see my slide here. Can you guys see that? All right. So tonight we're going to talk about Ascension symptoms. What are they? And why are we experiencing them? We are in the middle of the absolute biggest paradigm shift, probably, well, I can't say in all time, because I guess, if you believe in Atlantis, that was pretty big. But we are transitioning into a higher consciousness. There's no doubt about it. We are birthing a new earth, right? Maybe it's not going to be, like a new earth that pops out of this earth, right? a consciousness new earth. The vibration on the earth is rising. Mac, can everybody see the slides? Okay, thank you. So this is all very exciting, except the energies are strong. They are potent. They are intense. Our bodies are adjusting to the new frequencies. Our dense body feels, like I said before, these frequencies as symptoms. We are upgrading, and that's the good news. So Earth's vibration is rising. We are currently exposed to massive light energy, right? Massive high frequencies coming from all around. It's coming from the changing planetary alignments, right? There's, I mean, you know, even if you don't follow astronomy or science, you have to know that things are really different. It's coming from the collective consciousness, right? We might not think about that when we think about the energy that's coming to the planet. It's coming from solar flares. It's coming from coronal mass ejections. It's coming from inside Mother Earth, the ley lines, the crystals on the planet. It's coming from higher dimensionals. We got some people on our side, and also from angels, spirit helpers, and ascended masters. For the sake of our talk tonight, our show tonight, let's call everything energy, everything. The symptoms, the changes, the body. Changing energy affects not only our body, but it affects us energetically too. So when we talk about the dimensions, like we did in the beginning, they say we are in the third dimension. This is where we experience polarity, good and bad, right and wrong, separation, right? I was born and was unwanted. I was born into that separation. A lot of ego, but there's also love, and there's also the possibility for expansion if we choose it. In addition to the energies bombarding the planet here on 3D, it's hitting our bodies. Oops. The inner work, hang on guys, I'm having a senior moment. The inner work, chosen to ascend or not, affects us. Huh. Okay. I'm not sure why this is here. Oh, yes, I get it now. Sorry, guys. So in this 3D, sorry, I can play the senior card, and I got to tell you, you might not be old yet, but it's a great card that you get to play, honestly. So we get to choose how we're going to react on this planet with the polarity, with the separation, with the ego. We can choose to do the inner work and ascend during this time or not. And we can unlock our spiritual potential during this time. A lot of what we're feeling is the energy affecting our spiritual centers. Some people know those words as chakras. Therefore, the symptoms are within, the symptoms are without. We're going to talk about the symptoms. Put your seatbelt on, guys. So before we get started, I just want to remind everybody of the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Energy can only be changed. It can be converted from one form to another, and this is universal law. The other thing I want to remind you when you think about this is that we are always in control. All right. So we always have choices over our energy, even though we may feel some of these symptoms that we're going to go over right now. We have choices over the way that we react to them. So let's talk about some of the psychological symptoms. And let me know in the chat if you've experienced any of these. Apathy, right? Do you suddenly feel like, oh my God, I just don't care about anything. I don't care about anything. And, I'm going to go eat M&Ms. Um, Irritability. You may be easily triggered. So antisocial is like scary words, right? Because it's associated with a psychological disorder. But you can have antisocial moods without having a psychological disorder, right? I don't want to go to the grocery store. I don't want to go to the post office. I don't want to go to that party, right? I just don't want to be around people. Anybody have that lately? Put a 1 in the chat if you've had that. You may notice that traumas are resurfacing. You may think, I cannot believe this is coming up again. I did all that work right back in the day. I went to therapy and then, later in the time I did EMDR and maybe hypnotherapy, and I cannot believe this is resurfacing again. During this time with with all of the energy that's coming in and, trauma is stored in our body, they are resurfacing. They really are. But there's so much that you can do about it. You may experience hypnagogic. What the heck is that, Nori? Hypnagogic sensations. That's like right before you're falling asleep. You may have, and this is not necessarily exclusive to the awakening, but that feeling where you feel like you're falling and all of a sudden you're falling asleep and then you're wide awake. Or, and this has happened to me recently, you may hear somebody calling your name. And that voice may sound really familiar. You may have sensations during that time of right before you're falling asleep. You may see things, you may smell things, you may feel things. You're not losing your mind. You may have a loss of interest in the third dimensional world. You may cry more. You may laugh more. You may have an sudden influx of information that you didn't know before. How great is that, right? You may feel like you can't remember anything. Conversely, you may feel uncertain of what your next steps are. You may feel unfounded fear or a sudden burst of courage. Anybody? Yeah? Cool. Well, not cool, but you're not alone, right? So some of the physical symptoms that you're going to maybe feel: appetite changes. Now, I hear about this a lot from my clients, and I experience it myself from day to day, from week to week. Suddenly, I only want to eat this, right? I call it mono eating, or all of a sudden, everything that I liked before, I don't like anymore. That happened to me. Like a lot of certain foods fell away from me. Physically, you may notice energy fluctuations. You may be wide awake in the middle of the night and tired during the day, like your whole time clock switched. You may feel dizziness. Now, I'm, under my healing artist umbrella, I'm a registered nurse for like 150 years, and I am seeing the trend. One of my gifts is that I see patterns and I see trends, and I am seeing a trend of vertigo. Right? Dizziness. People are running to the doctor getting this medication called meclizine. And you know what? It might not be needed. So if you have any of these symptoms, I'm not saying don't go to the doctor if you're sick, but I'm saying, wait. Wait a few hours, maybe wait a day and see if the symptoms begin to clear. See if maybe you work on your energy if you can't clear them. And we're going to talk about that later. Headaches, sore throats, stomach issues, right? GERD, acid, feeling full all the time, feeling like you can't eat, having a hard time swallowing, then having lower intestinal issues. A lot of people are having that. Back pain, right? Pain running down your legs. So let's just look at that for a minute. Headache, sore throat in the throat, GI issues, fluttering heart. People are feeling fluttering heart, racing heart. back pain. That's all where your energy centers are. And that's why I preface this very awkwardly, forgive me, a couple of slides ago with the energy centers, which are also our chakras. So you may have temperature fluctuations. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like all over the temperature fluctuations. You may have overheating. You may feel like your circulation is bad. You may notice that your hands are kind of dusky. Your feet are kind of, purple, bluish at times. And of course, if any of these symptoms persist, I highly recommend, seeking medical care, going to see your healer, whatever you do first. Exhaustion. Eye changes. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when the Schumann resonance does a certain thing, I feel like I have sand in my eyes. My eyes are burning and I just have got to close them. That's when the fatigue sets in for me. You may notice an acute sense of smell. All of a sudden, you smell things way more powerfully than you did in the past. You may not sleep. You may get goosebumps for no reason, seemingly no reason, right? Or get them more often. You may have phantom pains, like shooting pains that you never had before. What the heck is that? It may be the energy influx coming into not only the earth, but into us. You may have a sense of otherworldly body sensations. Now, I can't completely explain that, but if you ever have that sensation, you'll go, oh my God, that's what Nori was talking about. It's almost like you feel like you're here, but you're not here. You feel like your leg is here, but not here. You feel like, and I'm not talking about your arm or leg going to sleep, so I'm not going to belabor that. But if you feel it, at least you don't have to be scared. Heart flutters, pins and needles, clumsiness, right? I can clear the table in the Chinese restaurant, right, with clumsiness, right? Salt and pepper, neck, everything gone. You may feel foggy. You may feel flu symptoms. I mean, I'm hearing that a lot. You may, of course, have a whacked sleep schedule. Whacked is a medical term. You may notice that you are releasing weight or you are gathering weight, right? What's happening here? So I just want to remind you that love is the highest vibration on the planet. And love is always the answer. I'm going to talk more about that. So let's talk about life. You may notice changing relationships. I mean, just, look at social media, right? Look at the way people interact with each other. Excuse me. You may have been friends with somebody for 30 years and now suddenly you're not together. You may notice sudden changes in life, just like, where did that come from? You may have a dark night of the soul, right? What once was no longer suits you. You may have the tendency to purge things. You may be getting rid of all your stuff. You may purge people. You may suddenly be pulled out to nature and have wanderlust, right? A lot of people are selling their stuff and getting a van or getting a camper and going and seeing the world, right? The past may seem unfamiliar to you. You may have the desire to heal yourself. You may suddenly have a desire to heal others. You may have a desire to suddenly move your body. You didn't like exercise or you didn't feel like yoga was good, but now you just want to move. And then there could be changes in the way that you think about and the way that you feel about sex. Too much sex, no sex, or maybe suddenly you have a spiritual feeling about sex. You may have a buzzing in the ears. You may be sound sensitive, mood swings, vivid, lucid dreams, and you may have a yearning for a place that the only word you can describe it as is home. You may feel isolated. These are all symptoms. Oh, look at that. Look, Augie, I got a -5 for spelling on this slide because I didn't spell feel right. Right? All of this is temporary. You may feel spirits around you. The veil is lifting. I'm getting a little woo-woo. You may suddenly have a sense that you have a mission on the earth now. You may have an undeniable urge to fulfill it. You may discover that you have higher intuition. Deja vu feelings. So let's talk about the way that the energy frequencies affect us spiritually. Prayer may feel different to you. Maybe you pray more. Maybe you stop praying. Maybe you are shifting and finding new ways to pray. You may feel like you're in a spiritual drought, like, where in God's name are my angels and guides? You may find that meditation is easier or more difficult. You may have a deeper craving for spiritual connection. You may begin to see life differently. I'm pausing here because the way that I am experiencing this right now, I feel like a broken record because I keep hearing myself saying, oh my God, that's so beautiful. Oh my God, it's so beautiful here. Look at how beautiful, right? So you may have a new way that you look at life. You may suddenly have a release of anger, a release of judgment, a release of guilt or shame or whatever that thing was that was like a pebble in your shoe, and be flooded with increased compassion, kindness, and love. And you may have increased epiphanies, aha moments, right? Like just, I wish I was on Jeopardy because I'm getting all the answers. No matter what your ascension symptoms are, there is power in stillness. Some of those symptoms may make us feel like bolting, right? Going and making a decision just because we don't want to feel the feels. But I really invite you to take a minute when you're going through it, take a minute and feel the feels. Whether you're experiencing the ascension symptoms as grit, right, or grace, you do have control over the way that you feel about them. You're sovereign. You're not just this body. You are energy. You are eternal energy. So when you're having your ascension symptoms, take care of you. How would you treat a 5-year-old if they were going through that? Can you see yourself through those eyes? Call off, right? Eat the cake, do the yoga, take the bath, take that new class, go to the webinar, sell your stuff if you feel like it, turn your phone off, be quiet, be loud, whatever it takes, it's okay. As always, when the ascension symptoms hit you, tend to the body, tend to the mind, and tend to your soul. And most importantly, well, I don't think there's a hierarchy. Maybe there is. Tend to the eternal you. Tend to the eternal you, your spirit. So all of the energy coming into the planet is light. But you know what? So are you. Be with the light. Flow with the light. Amplify the light. Because you are the light. You are the light. Anybody have any questions? Oh, Augie said, haha, misspellings are my job, right? I thought you'd like that. I thought you'd like that. Let me just check the chat room really quick. I know I'm just right on time. Adrian said, yeah, same for me with the eyes during the Schumann spikes. Yeah, really good. Adrian said, oh my God, yes, today I felt so full of love in my heart. I spontaneous burst into tears. That is a classic. Adrienne, thank you for sharing that. That is a classic ascension symptom. I love it. And it's also a sign of your energy rising, right? Beautiful. So beautiful. So let's just talk really quickly about some of the things you can do, right? Breathe. Breathe. You can only think one thought at a time, unless you're a genius. You can only think one thought at a time. So if you think about breathing in for 6 and exhaling for 8, you're going to not focus on the ascension symptom that you're feeling. Soothe yourself if they're scaring you, like you're a 5-year-old child. Right? Get an overview of you having the symptom and soothe yourself like you're a 5-year-old child. If that means you have to go get a vanilla ice cream, I'm all for it. Actually, call me up. I'll go with you. Extra sprinkles, please. Move your body, ground, go outside, take your shoes off, take the rubber off of your feet, right? That disconnects us from the earth, and put your feet on the earth at a minimum of 10 minutes. Get those negative ions into your body, not negative bad, right? This is when negative is good, into your body. It makes a world of difference. And then if you find that grounding is really good for you, there's a myriad of products that you can get. There's a pad that you can put on your bed. There are grounding shoes. Of course, they only work when you're outside. There's grounding things you can put on your body. So there's lots of things that you can do. And then for the body, tend to it. Submerge your body in water. The ocean, a lake, the bathtub, right? The bathtub with the lavender oil is like one of my favorites. Move your body. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of our body during this time of awakening, during this time of ascension, during this time of the age of Aquarius. Our body is partnering with our ascension. So this is the time to take care of it. Isn't it just oddly interesting that we had 3 years to kind of deteriorate, right? Like forced deterioration, if you will, right during this time. If you're a rebel, I say rebel against that. Begin to notice live food. Begin to notice that your cravings may be changing. Begin to put beautiful living things into your body and feel your body. Feel the tension. Work the tension out. Stretch. I'm not saying go to yoga if you hate yoga. I get it. Just move your body. There is wisdom in your body. And if any of those stored traumas are coming up, working your body is going to help you relieve them. I can't tell you how many people I have physically trained, personal trainer trained, who it's not if, when their traumatic memories came up. I mean, I'm talking outbursts in the middle of an exercise session, suddenly going hysterical in the gym. It happens. So you can come at healing those traumas from the outside as well as the inside. And that's such a beautiful thing. All right, guys, I am over time. Let's see. Yeah. Adrienne said, I just saw a bright white orb fly by your mic and off to the left. Thank you for that. I have to tell you, there are many orbs and energetic illuminations. I'm being cautious, and things that we see here, and it's always a blessing because it's our intention, that only the light abides. here. And I hope only the light abides in you and around you. Much love, everybody. I'll see you next week, or maybe I'll see you Tuesday at the Broadcast Team Alpha show, 8 p.m. right here on Broadcast Team Alpha. Much love, everybody. Thanks, Mac. Thanks, guys.